Hey, peace and blessings to you. My name is Jerry B. I am the entree musician, and so are you. And you are absolutely going to enjoy the episode that we've prepared before you because, look, we've been talking about cryptocurrency, NFTs, and whatnot on this platform for a while now. And I must admit that my feet are getting wetter. And the reason why is because I have partners like Iman Bunton of Collabratz. And I wanted to introduce you to him so you can check him out for yourself. Iman, what's going on, brother?
Man, it's a pleasure to be here. Big. Always good to see you, my brother.
It's a pleasure to have you, man. And I'm grateful that the calendar finally stopped on the day because we've planned this for a minute, and I'm glad that you're here. We got to give a shout out to Brandon David, of course, of More Than a Mastermind, who actually made the introduction for us. But man, it's really good to see you.
Yeah, you as well. You as well. Yeah, shout out to Brandon. He's down at South by Southwest Music Festival right now, making things happen. So it's it's always cool to see somebody that just has a knack for bringing people together. You need those type of people, and he's definitely that. So
He is.
definitely big love to Brandon.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Now, you are just like right on point, striking like home runs. Poof, poof, every time with this great company that you formed, Collabratz. Now, you got to tell us, entree musicians, why A, we need your service, B, what it will do for our careers once we've partnered with you, and three, your why. Why did you enter into this space?
Yeah, sure, man. Well, I'll start by just kind of letting you know what the platform is. So later this summer, early fall, I'm launching Collabratz.com. And Collabratz is a mix between Web 2 and Web 3. It is a networking and coaching tool for musicians. Um, a lot of times, musicians are stuck reaching out to try and find resources. There's always somebody that, I mean, you know, somebody that should have made it. I know somebody that just, they should have made it. They should have gotten to a point where they, were monetizing their work, but they lack the connections and the resources. You know what I mean? And we, uh, we often find ourselves not finding the people with the compatible skills to help us create and monetize our art. I mean, if you're good at something, you need somebody else who's equally good at something totally different. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
if you're a producer, I think that's great, but you need a vocalist that's going to get on your productions, and vice versa. And in commerce, we have, and even in the world of dating,
hmm,
we have this really cool program that brings resources into our sphere, right? To where we're able to just identify what it is that we need,
yeah,
and we trust technology to bring those things into our sphere. But in artistry, and more particularly music, musicians are still reaching out to individuals to try to find that perfect fit.
hmm,
Collabratz solves that. It uses matchmaking algorithms based on information that we provide, your style and genre and price points and things of that nature, and it will suggest to you these connections in sequence, right?
that's amazing.
That's going to save artists time and money. And once you connect with the right people, we also house an NFT marketplace and the ability to net your work in the same location,
Mm.
right? And so that in and of itself saves people time and kind of the aggravation of figuring out who are the people that I need to help me be successful. Um, but aside from that, we have a feature that provides education and resources along each step of the way. And I think that's the key. That opens our site and opens our business to multiple relationships with other businesses in the space, but it
Yeah,
also allows for the customer to uh, have those resources at their fingertips. And it really, by the time you get to market, you want to feel good about your licensing. You want to feel good about, you know what I mean, your content.
right.
And we never set out to be the platform that does everything, but we will provide you with those resources without you ever having to leave this kind of ecosystem,
Mhm.
so that you can progress along the path more quickly.
Man, you said a mouthful there. In fact, one of the things that I picked up on was networking and coaching platform that this provides. But you mean to tell me, so I'm a producer and I'm looking for a vocalist or I'm looking for a guitarist who I just need that one special like grunge track and I need that type of guitarist. You have a database that I would be able to plug into and pull up some possibilities. Is that what I
Absolutely.
understand? That's fantastic.
Absolutely. And it will, when you indicate what it is that you're looking for and you're creating a project, it's a lot similar to what you do on a dating website,
Mhm.
except you're actually trying to find somebody that's going to help you make money, right?
Right.
Instead of costing you something on a date. But yeah, in sequence, based on the order of best match, it's okay, I need this particular type of singer or this vocalist or percussionist or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
And when you go and indicate that, it's going to just start giving you suggestions based on the information that you have put in. Um, yeah,
Now
so it's
let me ask
really
this question because the one thing is, you know, once that match is made, so to speak, then how much is Collabratz involved in either keeping it together? Do you create the smart contract? Do you make sure that they're paired, whether they're in person or online, or you just make the introduction?
we'll do a lot more than that. You know, a lot of the actual work, the studio work, occurs offline, and Collabratz is more or less the meeting space, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of our NFTs that are minted on our site are equipped with a built-in smart contract that distributes royalties and residual royalties for every sale, right? So the original sale from the marketplace, you know, the Collabratz marketplace will take a small, very small 5% sales commission for that. But every residual sale after that, the collaborator and any other contributors on the site, you know, will all receive, you know, royalties built in. You know what I mean? So, but we also provide resources to say, okay, well, this is what we're offering, but if you want to infuse another smart contract in there, you know, we don't write smart contracts, but here's where you can go.
Hmm.
Here's the experts. And to answer your second question, JD, there's a couple reasons why I feel like this is so important. And it's because with the Web3 space, even with the Web2 space, with streaming and with music in general, there's so many things to distract musicians from just being good musicians. There's always a wait a minute first before you get your music online. The first thing you need to do, stop making music and learn all about the publishing and the licensing, and then once you do that, learn about the streaming content. You know what I mean? And just like by then, it's like how much music could I have made while I'm trying to figure all this out? You know, and it really it's a hassle, especially for people that are not familiar with the space.
Hmm.
And it really, I just don't like anything that detracts somebody that has God-given talent or maybe just skill that they're working on. And you shouldn't have to choose between going to school or working a job and then making your art, right?
Sure,
Um,
sure.
that's something that's really in my heart is that, you know, everybody knows somebody that's sitting behind a desk or that's doing something else, and you're just like, man, but that person should have made it. They have all this talent, but
Mm.
they had to make a choice between being a starving artist and musician or paying their bills and surviving. And with
Hmm.
this Web3 space, it's everything is and. It's not or. You can do it as well. You don't need a gajillion followers or 10 million streams to do this type of stuff. What you need is a network of people that want to invest in you and your art
Yeah.
and the resources so it doesn't take you forever to figure out the logistics behind creating stuff.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Now, I guess the question would be, are you know, are you a musician, Iman? For the few months that I have known you and talked to you, I don't know the answer to that question. You are a
Uh,
musician?
I am. I am. So um, I am a music producer by trade. You
Hmm.
know, I actually grew up playing the French horns, but paid for my college and everything. I played French horn. I went to an HBCU, did the marching band scene like that, and got to know a lot of talented instrumentalists through that way.
Yeah.
And I really invested in more of the business side of things as I had gotten into a career in healthcare. So I'm one of the ones, you know what I mean? At one point, you couldn't tell me anything. At one point, I was going to play pro basketball, and that, quickly was, by the time I saw how tall people were in college, that didn't pan out very well at all, right? And then I was going to be a producer, but the logistics of kind of like the paperwork side, the licensing side, I just didn't have time to learn it, man. I was broke. I needed to make some money, and I couldn't, do it all together. Fortunately, I was able to get into a healthcare field and start doing really well there.
Yeah.
But I really just have a heart for people that maybe they're like me, and they're like now starting to get back into it, realizing, hey, I can have a whole virtual world that I can do from home without even having to, approach the music industry the way I did before.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's people that have always just kind of had this talent, and it was always for like a side thing. Maybe they play piano for family when they come over, but they could really have a fan base. They have a knack for performing, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to, make money off of this. I mean, people are in this space. People need to hear this art, and I think the interesting thing about Collabratz, Jerry, is that we're going to be making connections that wouldn't have otherwise been made. You know what I mean? Most of the time, if I need somebody that does a certain thing, it's going to be somewhere within my immediate reach. You know what I mean? That I can reach out and say, oh, I need a guitar player. Let me call this person. Then they'll be kind of close to me. But we're taking a lot of information in a database and making connections that you might not have even known were there or thought to reach out to, and connecting people to collaborate on this field.
And that is fantastic. So tell us, how do musicians get involved? How do we get into the pipeline so that we can start making these connections?
Easy. So right now, you go to www.collabratz.com. It's a landing page that's going to bring you to now, tell you a little bit about us and what we do. And then just request access. Once you request access, that's going to get you on our mailing list. You'll get a couple emails right away asking what kind of musician you are, what genre, what you do. And then as we get closer to launch, you're going to start getting a lot of information, about the network, about our beta, tutorials on how to set up your crypto wallet and join the site and doing all these types of things. So in short, it's easy. Just go to collabratz.com, request access, and we'll give you all the information that you need.
And that's excellent. So when are you expecting to launch?
Well, we're going to be launching a beta group towards the end of the summer. And we're really going to take some time to analyze the feedback on the beta group. You know what I mean? A couple hundred musicians right off the bat. I mean, assuming that, 10,000 viewers look at your podcast and sign up today. You know what I mean? That'd be great. But we're going to be looking at that beta group and just kind of walking through the algorithms and we'll have some things being released on the marketplace at that time. But even in the beta group, you'll have the opportunity to use like fake crypto. We have a little test environment set up so people can see how those things hit their wallets and test the loyalty functions out. We'll do some market research after that. Not really market research, but some user feedback from that beta group. And we will hope to launch the full version at the beginning of next year.
Is there a startup cost for the musicians signing up?
Nope.
No?
Absolutely free. That's how we're starting up free.
Excellent.
Has to be free because, as we add more features, we will look at a subscription-based model because, we are allowing a lot of resources to be used, but for a limited time, we will be offering Collabratz services exclusively for the first 10,000 members.
I see.
free of charge.
Wow. So all genres are welcome. Are there any particular categories like we mentioned producers before, so musicians, producers, any room for labels or managers or record company execs, or how is that going to be funneled?
Everybody is welcome.
Hmm.
We will um, down the road, we will be offering kind of like a franchise membership service for big companies and labels, similar to a LinkedIn type model,
Yeah.
where you have the free version, but then you can add features as you go on and have the LinkedIn business. We're doing the same thing with regards to those big companies and labels. But as far as independent artists, I mean, literally anything, because we're taking artists, DJs, videographers, just regular artists that can help somebody with album art.
Hmm.
There's literally a place for everybody that could possibly be involved in a project on Collabratz.
Yeah.
Um, and we also have a space just for fans. Maybe you're not a musician at all, but you love music, you want to invest in music, you want to invest in musicians and build your digital portfolio.
Hmm.
Have at it. You come in, you can connect your wallet, you can shop and collect NFTs from the site. Um, and then we will also be providing resources on, um, managing digital assets if you choose to do that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I got to tell you, for a musician who didn't want to learn publishing and all of the rest of the stuff, you really went in.
It's just, I just can't stand it. It's just, I'm good at something, man. Just let me be good. I mean, that's why you have labels that are able to practice somewhat predatory practices when it comes to signing artists,
True,
because
true.
artists are just like, man,
Yeah.
I can rap, just let me rap. That's it, please. I don't put the smart ones in that business. Learn like the business aspect of it.
Hmm.
Um, but we want people to be able to start doing things now and not have to go to 10 different places
Yeah.
to learn this stuff. So at least you can kind of come to one place, and we have determined all the different components that you need
Hmm.
to have your project ready to market, set you up for a good product with residual income
Hmm.
that you own, and at least that you have that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well,
And the other resources will learn.
you could always, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you could always send them over to the entree musician as well. I mean,
Absolutely,
that's an option.
absolutely. Listen, I would love to do that, Jerry B, because that's what I love about just being a platform, is that my door is wide open for
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of the amazing connections that I've been making. I would love to take our client group and provide them with resources for people that I know are genuinely invested in the music and care about the artist. So absolutely, sending them your way to get good information from somebody who cares is what we would love to provide, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we're making sure that Collabratz is going on within the next 24 hours onto our resource page, so that people will know that you're definitely out there and you are a viable resource for what they need, especially as far as educational resources and community is concerned. I really, really like the platform. But the question I want to ask, man, is you've been in this space enough time. I'm just about ankle deep in the
Mhm.
metaverse. Of course, I'm in the same mastermind group you are, learning and growing and trying to brush my teeth and floss so I can be ready for the conversation. But the thing is, where do you personally see, as a musician and
Yeah.
now as a business owner, where do you see musicians going, the breadth of what can be accomplished because of this Web3 technology? What do you personally see?
Um, I see it one of two ways. You're gonna have a lot of people that have an entrepreneurial mindset that realize that when you're talking about the Web3 space and NFTs and ownership, that you can start off a conversation talking about music and end up in a conversation talking about asset management,
Mm, mm,
which I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
You're going to see musicians that can monetize and become their own brand. Um, you're going to see a transition in the music business, whereas as the technology continues to grow, and especially as it grows in the direction of ownership, you're going to start to see a world where artists don't need a manager or a label, they need a CTO.
Mm.
You need somebody that's going to leverage technology on your behalf to make it easier for you to make money off the space. Right?
Wow.
The flip side of that is, unfortunately, I think that, I won't say unfortunately, but naturally, you're going to have, the kind of industrialized sector come into the space. And I think there's a big push right now to protect this nest egg that we have where we can travel in the path that leads to ownership. But I do think you're going to see all the major spaces try to get into the Web3 angle and monopolize portions of it, right? I just think that that's the way it is. We saw this with the digitalization of television.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm only slightly younger than you, Jerry B. So we remember when I remember at one point as a kid, and there was an announcement made that you could know, like, your cable box that you had, it's never going to work again. That was it. No cable box. We're going all digital cable.
That's correct.
And it was a weird space to be in, and some people were a little bit upset about it. But do you think at that point that somebody knew or had envisioned the future of digital television? Because somebody did. You know what I mean? And I think that vision is becoming more clear in the Web3 space. And just like the television space, you're going to have your Paramounts and your Netflixes and like big corporations who kind of try to iron out a place in Web3. Yeah. I think that's inevitably going to happen.
So how should then musicians be thinking so that the musicians are the MGM, the Sony, the Warner Brothers of the Web3 space? Where, because you said, and I agree with you, that you become your own brand. It's you Inc. Because you are your own business, and eschewing the management and getting a CTO and having your IT department pretty much run your social, program on your behalf, because you are concentrating on creating that art that really sets you apart. Is it a numbers game? Because on one hand, we're talking about you don't need 1 million fans. You can pretty much squeeze with 5,000 and do very well for yourself, and build from there. But how do you think, not to get too far away from my own question, that musician should be thinking in light of this pioneering wild west that we have before us?
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly when you said your brand. I think musicians should be working to develop their brand, to be able to put their stamp on multiple products and items, and have it mean something, right? And I think the musicians should really be focused on leveraging themselves and platforms that are not going to penalize them for basically leasing the space. So some of the social platforms a lot of people right now are using, you're basically leasing that space from them, right? So you can have 10 million followers, but if you want to market your brand and put something out or do something with all 10 million of those followers, you're not necessarily going to be able to.
That's correct.
Without paying that particular entity to do that.
That's correct.
And it's like, but you work to build that following, and that kind of makes you a threat to the actual platform. You know what I mean? So get off platforms like that.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Try to create a brand for yourself where if you wanted to move that brand to something, some other platform, then your fans would come with you. If you wanted to, if I got a show on Netflix and I don't like my deal with Netflix, I should be able to come out and say, you know what, I'm taking my business to Hulu. All my fans go to Hulu. You know what I mean? And I think that with the NFT, um, phenomenon, I will call it, I think that that is the key to being able to do that, because you can provide so much more than just music with any NFT.
Mm-hmm.
So your fans are going to invest in you because they like your music and they like listening to you. But when they're buying your NFTs and you have that exclusive content locked in there, you can provide so much more value to create that customer loyalty that you can truly organize and direct your market and find yourself on platforms or venues that truly allow you to, that are in competition with you, so to speak, as a brand.
It's a great answer. Now, let me ask you, because you admitted that you were only a few months younger than I. Thanks for pointing that out. But uh, I have a question with respect to uh, is there some trend, or is there market research or some data that supports the best use of minting your NFT? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this is because the trend sort of got left albums, especially when we talk about Web 2 and Spotify and whatnot, and it's more artists were making singles, and then it wasn't enough to make singles. You have to make short singles, like 2.5 minutes rather than 4.5, if you were broadcasting on FM radio. So we saw where they sold more, and then really the industry pushed to the shorter thing because they could sell more ad time as a result. So here comes the question. With respect to NFTs, is there enough data to support if you put a video, a couple singles, or if you put a full album, concert footage, into your NFT? What media should you be looking at to say, okay, this is going to give you your best bet, or is it really still just up to you and your fans as to what is going to create a valuable NFT, man?
Hmm. I think that's an excellent question. I don't think right now I'll be able to point you in the direction of some research
Okay.
um, specific to NFTs, but I can tell you that if you just look at regular research on kind of the habits of different customers for a multitude of products, they are more likely to gravitate to what gives them the most value,
Mm,
right? And extra value.
yeah.
And as their attention spans get a lot shorter, they need quick access to things that are free, things that kind of grab their attention, right? Um, I'll give you an example with the movies. You buy a movie, for a while you bought a tape, a VHS tape, that was great. Then DVDs came out, and that was great. And then DVDs started coming out with what? Exclusive content at the end.
Correct.
Blooper reels, like deleted scenes, things like that, because those are driving sales. So there's definitely research that says the more extras that you're able to give somebody
Mm,
within one purchase, the more likely they are to go back and do a different purchase. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So I think following those trends of just consumer habits will let you know that, what are you really getting um, from streaming some music? You can stream that music over and over and over again. That's all well and good.
Sure.
But at some point in the road, you're not providing anything extra to the customer. They don't feel like they're exclusive anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you're starting to see platforms like Spotify start to toy around with tokenized playlists, right?
Yeah.
Like you own this token and now you have access to it, but it makes you feel exclusive. You're getting something extra for having this token. So with NFTs, because there's unlockable content and things like that that you can provide, it's only natural following those trends that the more things that you can provide that your fans are interested in, the better off your sales will be.
Yeah.
I know that with regards to music, speaking from a personal standpoint, it's always interesting to see how it's made, right? And if I think of my top 5 albums that I've ever heard in my life, like, man, those albums are great. If I can get an NFT or a vinyl copy of those albums, that would be great. But if they somehow released a making of that album, I couldn't tell you what I'd pay for it. You know what I mean?
Understood.
To get a glimpse behind the scenes of what's going on. I can tell you right now that fans of music and art right now, they really want to get to know the artists and the musicians on a personal level.
Yeah.
Share something. That's why they're always on their social media and things like this. So if you can include things like that, I think that's what's going to provide a lot of additional value and really drive the prices of NFTs.
Now, here's the most important question of the evening, because you've been answering so very well. But the most important question of the evening, Iman, is how's your lips? Are your lips still on point for the French horn, or where are we at?
You know, my embouchure is it's a little shabby right now. You know what I mean?
Ah,
I can play. I can
yeah,
play. I could not right now. I couldn't give you a whole set. I couldn't play for a long time. You know what I mean?
understood.
And that takes a long time to really build and develop those muscles. Um, but yeah, so I'd say if I had to describe it in a word, I'd say halfway decent.
Halfway decent. That's 2 words.
Yeah, halfway decent. There it is.
Oh, that's very, very cool. Now, I usually ask, uh, you've done several interviews, I'm sure, and the press is really going to be at your door for Collabratz. And I appreciate the time that you're spending with us today. But, while you're doing interviews and you're preparing, answers, beforehand, is there a question that you thought that Jerry's going to ask me this question, so I'm going to be ready for it? But I haven't asked that question yet. So,
Hmm.
is there an answer that you need to provide for the unasked question, or any information that you feel that our viewers and listeners should know about, and for some reason I
Yeah,
didn't ask you?
yeah. So without giving too much away, there's something that I want the viewers to know.
Okay.
Um, and that is number one, it is never too, you know, the world is at our fingertips now.
Mm,
And I always feel the need to speak to those who think that their window has passed and they were this and now it's too late and this life is happening. And it is never too late. Um,
man.
and I don't know who needs to hear that right now,
Yeah.
but God gives talent, he gives it to you. You know what I mean? And what you do with it is on you. But he wouldn't just give you something with the expiration date.
That's right.
There is no expiration date on it, right? So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, you know, without giving too much away, this process that we're doing, we're already, moving and working on versions 2 and 3. Right. So there's enhancements to the music, there's enhancements and features that are going to be added shortly after the live launch to Collabratz, but there's also other genres of art that we are applying this process to. So there will literally be a place on Collabratz for all types of creators, regardless of what your skill is or your level is.
That's excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad I asked that, because that's important information. But to your first point, man, oh my goodness, you hit me in the heart, because that's where I'm at. And my love is for really ministering to those who are entre musicians in the 50 plus age group, because yeah, you're right. When you begin to think, and it can set in so subtly that, well, that was then, this is now, this is what I did in college, or this is what I did when the guys were together, and now I have grandchildren, and it's easy to set the guitar down, but there's no expiration date. You said that masterfully, man, and I appreciate you on that
Right?
tip. And I appreciate you being with us today. Obviously, it just seems like time goes so quick when you're having fun, man. But
It does, man.
it won't be the last time that we hook up. That's for sure. It won't be the last time that you're on this platform. And I signed up earlier for Collabratz. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I'm waiting to receive that introductory email and to see what goes down the line. And you will be on a resource page at the Entre Musician. So I'm just looking forward to great things, man. 5 years from now is just going to be like, really?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Man, well, thank you so much. This is Iman Bunton. You want to go to collabratz.com, or I should say Collabratz, as one word, .com, because this is all about collaboration. It's all about coaching, resources that you can use, and making sure that you can make a connection with a musician or producer or other who would help guide your career along. Brother, man, I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next time, all right?
Yes, sir. God bless you, Gary B.
Blessings to you. That's going to do it for this round of the Entre Musician. Once again, go to collabratz.com. Pull over if you need to, write it down, put it in your phone, whatever you're doing, and make sure that you take some time out to avail yourself to the wonderful information that they have. Also, make sure that you pick up your copy of my best-selling book. It's called The Path of the Entre Musician, 9 Keys to Unlock Your Mindset, Discipline, and Focus, because you got to do it. Tell everybody you know and 12 people you don't that you hang out with the Entre Musician. Visit us online, join the community. We're having a lot of fun. My name is Jerry B. I am the Entre Musician, but you know what's important? So are you. We will definitely see you next time. God bless.